If I had to choose one word to describe my college years, I wouldn't pick freedom nor exploration. I would choose silence. A heavy, lingering silence that stretched from the day I stepped onto campus until the moment I nearly lost the boy I loved. My university was in the Midwest of the United States, a sprawling campus with old oak trees, red brick buildings, and autumns where the leaves fell so abundantly you could hear them crunching underfoot. I once thought this place would give me a new version of myself, braver, more authentic. But in the end, I learned to hide myself even better. Tyler entered my life in the first week of freshman year. He sat behind me in Intro to Psychology. His voice was deep, slightly hoarse, the kind that made you turn around even before seeing the face. The first time I saw Tyler, he was smiling, a wide, unguarded smile, as if the world had never hurt him. "Matthew, right?" Tyler asked when the professor assigned group discussions.
I'm Tyler.
I nodded, my heart beating faster than necessary. My hand trembled slightly when I shook his, and I hated myself for it. I was used to keeping everything under control, grades, expressions, words. But Tyler, he threw me off balance with just one look. We quickly became friends. Study buddies, lunch companions, midnight library partners before exams. Tyler was majoring in communications while I was in biology, two different worlds, but somehow they met in perfectly fitting silences. Tyler talked a lot, I listened a lot. Tyler laughed loudly, I smiled. Tyler shared stories of fleeting high school romances while I only talked about assignments. I didn't tell him I was gay. Not because I hated myself. At least I didn't think so. I was just afraid. Afraid of the change in his eyes. Afraid of the distance that might appear. Afraid of losing this rare friendship I had. But Tyler was different. He lived as if he had nothing to hide. Wearing oversized hoodies, rolling up his sleeves to reveal a small tattoo near his wrist. A line of Latin text I never dared to ask about. Tyler touched me casually when talking. A shoulder nudge, a back pat, sometimes a hand on my knee when laughing too hard. Each time, my heart tightened. The night everything started to change was at the end of the fall semester. We stayed in my dorm to study for the biology exam. Outside, snow fell heavily, fogging the windows. Tyler sprawled on my bed, reading my outline in a sleepy voice. "Matt," he said, not looking at me, "do you ever feel lonely even when you're surrounded by people?" The question hung in the air. I looked at Tyler. The desk lamp softened his face, making it less sharp. I wanted to be honest, to say that I felt lonely every day, that I always had to measure every word I said, every gesture I made, that there were nights I lay staring at the ceiling, wishing I had the courage to live authentically. But I stayed silent. "Everyone probably feels that way sometimes," I replied, a safe answer that was cruel in its safety. Tyler turned to look at me. His eyes darkened for a moment, as if he just touched a locked door. But then he smiled, the familiar smile. "Yeah, probably." That night, Tyler slept over. We lay side by side, not touching, but I could feel the warmth from his body. His steady breathing made me feel both peaceful and pained. I lay still, not daring to turn, not daring to breathe deeply. In the darkness, I wondered, if I said it, would everything change? I didn't say it, and I didn't know that the price of that silence would be so high. Winter passed in a strange rhythm. Tyler and I were still together almost every day, but something had shifted after that night. Not obvious, not loud, just a thin layer of tension over every conversation. Tyler still smiled, still told stories, but sometimes I caught him looking at me longer than usual, as if waiting for something I never said. And I continued to be silent. I convinced myself everything was fine, that this friendship was enough, that not everyone needed to live completely authentically. But my body betrayed those excuses. Every time Tyler leaned close in the crowded library, every time he casually pulled me in for a photo, I felt my heart pounding painfully. One early February evening, Tyler dragged me out of the dorm. "Come with me," he said. "I need some fresh air." We walked across campus in the cutting cold. The snow had melted a bit, leaving dirty gray patches on the roadside. Streetlights cast a golden glow on Tyler's face, making him look more tired than usual. "Matt," Tyler spoke up when we stopped near the artificial lake behind the library. "Do you believe that some things die if you don't say them out loud?" I swallowed hard. The question was no longer casual. I paused. Thousands of responses ran through my mind, but none were brave enough. "I think sometimes silence is a way to protect." Tyler laughed, but it wasn't a joyful laugh. "Protect who?" he asked. "You or others?" I didn't answer. Tyler turned away, looking out at the dark lake. I saw his jaw tighten, as if holding something back. "Sometimes," Tyler said slowly, "I feel like I'm standing in front of a wall. I talk, I knock, I even shout, but the other side stays silent." I knew he was talking about me. That night, Tyler didn't sleep over. The distance between us started to show in small things. Slower replies to texts, excuses of being busy, lunches no longer shared every day. I hated that feeling, but I didn't know how to break it. I had built this silence, and now I didn't know how to step out. Everything reached its peak at a communications department party. Tyler invited me, and I agreed, even though I knew it wasn't my scene. Loud music, a cramped apartment, the smell of beer and perfume mixing. Tyler drank more than usual. He laughed loudly, talked a lot, and flirted. I stood in the corner watching Tyler talk to another guy. Tall, blonde, hand on Tyler's waist intimately. A hot, burning sensation rose in my chest. Jealousy, clear and painful. Tyler saw me. His eyes skimmed over me, then turned away.
No pause. No hesitation.
I left the party early, my mind spinning. I hated Tyler for hurting me, but more than that, I hated myself for never giving him a reason to stay. That night, Tyler texted me. "You okay?" I stared at the screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a long time. I wanted to type it all. That I loved him, that I was scared, that I'd been silent too long. But in the end, I just replied, "Yeah, fine." 3 short words. The price of silence began to reveal itself from that moment. Not with a bang, but with a slow, painful cracking. A few days later, Tyler told me he was dating the guy from the party. "I think I should give it a try," Tyler said, his voice calm to the point of cruelty.
"I'm tired."
Tired of waiting. I nodded, smiling mechanically. I wished him luck. That night, I sat alone in my room, truly facing the truth for the first time. I had lost Tyler not because I wasn't loved, but because I hadn't dared to love. And the silence, the thing I thought would protect me, had become the thing that hurt me the most. Tyler changed faster than I imagined. He no longer sat next to me in psychology class. No more midnight texts with random questions. When we ran into each other on campus, Tyler was still polite, still nodded hello, but his eyes no longer lingered on me like before, as if I had become a closed chapter. The guy he was dating was named Ryan. I knew that because I couldn't not know. The campus wasn't big, and the communications department even smaller. Ryan appeared in Tyler's Instagram photos, arm around his shoulder, confident, comfortable smile. A kind of comfort I had never dared to have. Every time I saw them together, my heart ached like someone was pressing hard on it. But the most painful thing wasn't Tyler having someone new. The most painful was knowing that if I'd spoken up sooner, the one standing next to Tyler could have been me. I started avoiding familiar places. No more midnight library sessions. No more small coffee shop near the dorm, where Tyler used to sit across from me, chin in hand, looking at me like I was the most interesting thing in the room. I locked myself in a packed schedule in the lab in soulless scientific papers. But Tyler didn't disappear from my mind. He appeared in every small moment. The familiar soap scent on the hoodie I still kept, laughter echoing in the hallway, the unfinished question by the lake. I started wondering, did Tyler ever think of me the way I thought of him? Or was I just a pit stop, a silent friend he grew tired of waiting for? One evening, I ran into Tyler in the library. I was standing in front of the biology shelves when I heard his voice behind me. "Matthew." I turned around. Tyler looked thinner. His eyes were a bit tired, but still familiar to the point of heartbreak. Haven't seen you in a while, Tyler said. Yeah, I replied. I've been busy. The old, safe, distant answer. We stood there, between the tall bookshelves, in a heavy silence. Finally, Tyler spoke. You doing okay? I wanted to answer honestly, to say I wasn't okay at all. But the silence had become a reflex. Fine, I said. Tyler smiled faintly. You're always fine, Matt. There was something in his voice. Not anger, but disappointment. My throat tightened. Ryan, treating you well? I asked as if torturing myself. Tyler nodded. Yeah, he's straightforward. Knows what he wants. I smiled. Sounds good. Yeah, Tyler said. Then he looked at me deeper. Not everyone can do that. That statement stayed with me all night. A few weeks later, on a heavy rainy night, Tyler knocked on my door. I opened it, heart pounding erratically. Tyler stood there, jacket soaked, hair plastered to his forehead. His eyes were red, unclear if from the rain or something else. Can I come in? Tyler asked. I nodded, stepping aside. My small room suddenly felt cramped with Tyler inside. He didn't say anything, just stood in the middle, as if unsure where to start. Ryan and I... It's over, Tyler said finally. I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Guilt? Hope? I'm sorry, I said, another safe phrase. Tyler laughed. A hoarse, broken laugh. You're always sorry for things that aren't your fault. He stepped closer to me. The distance between us was only a few inches. I could smell the rain, the familiar Tyler scent. Matt, Tyler said, voice low. Do you know what hurts me the most? I shook my head. It's not that you didn't love me, Tyler said. It's that I never knew the truth. My heart seemed to stop. I gave you so many chances, Tyler continued. So many times standing in front of that wall. But you never opened the door. I looked at Tyler. All excuses became meaningless. The silence had taken too much from me. Tyler! I took a deep breath. I was scared. He didn't interrupt. Didn't turn away. I was scared that if I said it, I'd lose you. I continued, voice trembling. But it turns out it was because I stayed silent that I did. Tyler looked at me for a long time. Then he nodded slightly. The price of silence, Tyler said. It's really expensive. We stood there in the small room with all the unsaid things hanging. But for the first time, I didn't want to run away. That night, Tyler didn't leave right away. We sat facing each other on the two old swivel chairs in my room, the yellow light casting shadows on the wall. The air between us was thick, no longer a safe silence, but one waiting to be broken. I'm not here to blame you, Tyler said after a while. I'm just tired of guessing. I nodded. I know. You don't, Tyler replied, voice softer. The feeling of liking someone but never being sure if you're imagining it all. It makes you doubt yourself. Those words cut deeper than any accusation. I did like you, Tyler continued. Not maybe. I really did. I waited for you to say something, Matt. It didn't have to be a grand confession. Just a sign. I swallowed. I saw you every day. Wanted to touch you. Wanted to call your name differently. But every time I opened my mouth, I heard a voice in my head saying, don't ruin everything. Tyler smiled sadly. And you ruined it by doing nothing. The truth was brutally undeniable. I stood up, stepping in front of Tyler. My hands trembled, but this time I didn't let myself back away. I don't know if it's too late, I said. I don't expect you to come back right away. I just don't want to be the silent one anymore. Tyler looked up at me. His eyes were full of fatigue, but also honesty. You're saying this because Ryan left? Tyler asked. Or because you're finally ready? That question forced me to be honest. I'm scared, I said. I'm still scared, but I'm more scared of losing you. Tyler closed his eyes for a moment, as if weighing it. When he opened them, he stood up, facing me very close. I don't promise anything, Tyler said softly. I don't know if I have enough trust left to start over. I understand, I replied. But Tyler continued. I need you to promise one thing. What? Don't disappear into silence again, Tyler said. Even if it's painful, even if it's hard, speak up. I nodded. I promise. It wasn't a romantic movie moment.
No quis. No soundtrack.
But it was the first time I felt like I was in the right place with the right person saying what needed to be said. The weeks after that weren't easy. Tyler and I started over slowly, awkwardly. No clear labels. Just longer coffee sessions, deeper conversations, and many times I had to force myself to say what I'd once hidden. Sometimes I said the wrong thing. Sometimes I said too much. But I said it. One early spring afternoon, we sat on the steps in front of the arts building. Warm sun, light breeze. Tyler leaned back, looking at the sky. I once thought, Tyler said, that if you didn't say it, maybe I was imagining it all. I turned to look at him. I'm sorry for making you feel that way. Tyler nodded. But I learned something too. I can't stay forever in a place where I'm not answered. That statement stayed with me. At the end of the semester, Tyler held my hand for the first time in front of others. Just a crowded hallway of students. A very ordinary moment. But when his hand found mine, I felt my heart tighten. Not from fear, but from realizing how many moments like this I'd missed just because of silence. I held back. Not tightly, not showy, but real. Tyler looked at me, smiling. You okay? I smiled.
No.
But I'm learning to say it. He laughed along. We didn't call it love right away. But between us, there was no more deadly silence. Instead, there were awkward, honest dialogues, the kind I once thought I wasn't brave enough to have. And for the first time, I understood. Silence isn't always safe. Sometimes, it's the thing that makes you lose everything. Spring passed slowly, as if the campus was giving us more time to learn how to be together without hiding. Tyler and I didn't go public dramatically.
No announcements, no social media posts.
Just small things. Studying together at the coffee shop near school, sitting closer than necessary. Touches that seemed accidental but weren't. Eyes finding each other in crowds. And most importantly, the conversations. Some evenings we'd sit in Tyler's car, parked in the empty lot behind the stadium. Radio on low, dashboard light illuminating his face. In those moments, I'd tell Tyler about my fears. Fear of being seen differently, fear of disappointing my family, fear of not being strong enough to live authentically. Tyler didn't try to fix me. He just listened. And when I was silent too long, Tyler would gently prompt, Matt, say it. I learned to trust that speaking out didn't make me weak. But silence doesn't disappear just because you realize it's dangerous. It comes back when you least expect it. One evening, Tyler invited me to a friend's gathering. Not big, just a few from the communications department. I agreed, but my heart raced from the moment I stepped into that apartment. Eyes glancing at me, curious, judging, sometimes friendly. A girl asked Tyler, "What are you two to each other?" Tyler looked at me. Just a second. But that second was enough for the old silence to rise like a reflex. "Friends," I said before thinking. Tyler said nothing. He just nodded, smiled politely. That night, on the way back, neither of us spoke. When the car stopped in front of my dorm, Tyler turned off the engine and looked at me. "You know how familiar that feels?" Tyler asked, voice not angry, just tired. I bowed my head. I panicked. "I know," Tyler said. "But I need you to understand. Every time you choose silence in front of others, I have to question my place in your life." I looked up. This time I didn't hide. "I'm sorry," I said, "and I don't want that to happen again." Tyler looked at me for a long time. Then he exhaled. "I don't need you to shout it to the world. I just need you not to deny me." That statement stayed with me until graduation. That day, the campus was packed. Graduation gowns fluttering in the wind. Families, laughter, cameras. Tyler stood next to me, his cap slightly askew. When my name was called, I walked onto the stage, heart pounding. I looked down at the stands. Tyler was looking at me.
No avoidance. No ambiguity.
Just a straightforward, proud gaze. After the ceremony, amid the chaotic crowd, I took Tyler's hand. This time, no empty hallway, no hidden corner. Tyler turned to me, slightly stunned. I don't want to pay any more price for silence, I said. Tyler smiled. Not big, but the smile I'd loved from day one. Welcome, Tyler said, to real life. We didn't know what the future held. Only that we'd learned the most important lesson from our college years. Love isn't just emotion, it's a choice. To speak out, to face it, to not disappear. And if anyone asked me what college gave me, I'd answer, it gave me Tyler. And it taught me that the price of silence is always much higher than the fear of speaking up.